So weekly update number 23. Can't believe we're on 23 already. So what's been happening outside of Spain? What's been happening with people moving over? Well, I'm happy to say that after a bit of a break from getting visas in, I was worried. Now we've already got quite a few people now waiting for visas. We had some back from Manchester, which were 6 weeks, these visas from Manchester, but yeah, we've still got quite a lot to drop in. Things are definitely slowing down a bit in summer. So how many we've got? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19. So we've got 19 visas which still need to drop in from people across the country. We had 2 in from Manchester this week, and a lot of them now are pushing on a month that they've been waiting. So if you are waiting, it's just nice to know you're not the only one. I did see on Facebook the other day that somebody got one within 10 days, and there's a very useful comment underneath, because it said it doesn't seem to be the consulate that you apply to, it seems to be the area that you apply to. And that is because there is a system to what they're doing, and the system can be caught up and slowed down depending on what stage it's at. So evidently you go to the BLS office when you submit your documents, they get sent to the consulate. The consulate then do due diligence, and this is why we quite often see that when they request something, that they send that letter very quickly, because it hasn't yet gone off to immigration. So consulate look through the documents and they think, right, before we send this off for approval, okay, because we're going to do our due diligence on the healthcare, the money, etc, 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 we want more documents. That's why the requerimiento documents seem to take not very long to come through. It's because that initial overview of the file is normally what generates that. Okay, then they will send that to immigration here in Spain. I'm assuming that's done digitally. Immigration, and then approve it. So sometimes you'll see on your BLS status it's admission. Admission means it's actually in Spain being waiting to be approved. Okay, then once approved, the consulates get a document which would be a resolution to say it's been approved, then they will issue the visa. Now on a couple of occasions on this point as well, we've had letters come back requiring more documents, but the norm is that they do it at the front end of the process, not towards the back end. So a lot of people immediately get a letter, think, wow, they've looked at my file really quickly, answer that letter, and then they're having to wait a month to 6 weeks or even longer for their visa to come out. That is because you've answered it, they've most likely gone, okay, that's fine, now we're going to send it off for approval, and they haven't received that approval back yet from Spain. We're just talking about our experience now. A couple of other points that I wanted to make about the documents and coming over to Spain as well is, don't forget to check all the details on your documents, particularly with the ACRO. Now they were doing very well this year, and then suddenly over the space of about 10 days ACRO have managed to make more mistakes than I've seen them make in the last 2 years on documents. I don't know why, but mistakes on names, mistakes on signatures, mistakes on dates of birth, mistakes on even places of birth. Remember, when you get your ACRO back, to check it with a fine-tooth comb to make sure there's no mistakes, so you don't send it off to be apostilled or translated before they're picked up. Evidently we'll check them for you as well if you're with our clients, and quite often it will go straight to our translator and she checks them and picks up on mistakes as well, because she's literally going word to word. But just be careful of the ACROs, they seem to be making a mess of things at the moment. And the last thing I wanted to say with the moving over to Spain before you move over is about the airports. Now we've had some reports back of long queues at the airports here in Malaga as well, people queuing up to 2 hours to get through passport control. Okay, hopefully that'll stop at the end of the year with the EES system coming in, and it's going to be all digital. I know last time I went back to the UK through Stansted, it was brilliant, because, and my son, he's 10, he can do that as well now. So we got thrown out the family side, believe it or not, because you can't be 10 and go through the family side, so you have to be 9 to go through there. So we got nearly all the way to the front, and then when they realized that he was 10, they told us to go back. in mind. Then we walked all the way out and we literally scanned our passports and straight out. Let's hope that that happens all over the world now. But at the moment there's big queues. We're coming up to summer. So if you are struggling to stand for a long time, or don't necessarily have to have a disability but have slight mobility issues, there's absolutely no problem in using the PMR, or the people with reduced mobility. In Spanish it's PMR, it's Persona de Movilidad Reducida, and in English I don't know what it is, all right? But you know the guys who go around, they call them the canaries here, they go around dressed in yellow, all right? Now you would have to request this before you either on booking your flight or contact your airline company to let them know you're gonna need assistance at the other end. But I personally think even if you don't use a wheelchair normally in your day-to-day life and you're quite happily getting around, but you could have a problem maybe standing for 2 hours because you have got mobility issues that aren't very serious but would be serious if you were made to stand for 2 hours, then it's no problem getting PMR to help you, to getting the special assistance. You know, they do have different gradients of special assistance. So I personally think it's a good idea. You know, I know some people might find it degrading having been carted off in a wheelchair when really they could walk themselves, but you've got to look after yourself and make sure that you don't get ill. And if standing up for 2 hours is going to make you ill because of any health problems, I would suggest getting the assistance. So yeah, that's that. Coming through the airports, remember to bring your water with you as well, because there doesn't seem to be any drinks machines anywhere close to the queue. If you've got kids, make sure that they've got water and, you know, maybe something to entertain them for the 2 hours that you're going to be stood in the queue, which could be as much as a flight. Now, it can be very dramatic. I've just had somebody say, what you're talking about, because I was telling them about it. They said I flew straight through the other day and it was not a problem. When I came in with my son at the beginning of the year, it was about half an hour. That half an hour was because a lot of people had made mistakes. Now stood in the passport queue for non-Europeans when they didn't need to be. I had people there, Europeans, actually in the queue. I understand the confusion. It does say EU one way, all other passports that way. So if you've never travelled with a passport, a lot of Spanish people have never travelled before with a passport, they just follow the passport sign. So that's what's happening outside of Spain. Let's have a chat with what's been going on this week with our appointments. Well, what has been happening with our appointments this week is just not a lot. I can tell you, it is so frustrating at the moment, to the point of getting very angry about getting appointments in places like Almeria and Alicante, because we can't get the appointments, which means people can't then get their TIA card, can't register for healthcare. It won't be a problem once you get your appointment. Remember, do not leave the country if your visa expired, as long as you've got an entry stamp in your passport. Even if your visa expires and you go to your appointment afterwards, then that's okay. Okay, especially places like Almeria where they understand there's a lack of appointments. But it's becoming increasingly frustrating going in, and then suddenly, especially with Almeria, they'll open up and then you go to close it down and give you an error code, sorry, there's no appointment available. And we've got all hands on decks trying to get appointments for Alicante and Almeria at the moment. There's myself, there's Jane, there's Lara, there's Victoria up in Alicante as well trying for us. She recently got us an EU appointment for Alicante in a place called Elda in August. That was sort of the best that we could get. And this summer we also have a summer intern coming in, and their job is going to be to sit there and go click, 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 look for an appointment. But yeah, it is so frustrating. And we've also had people that we can't attend to. We've had a lovely couple call us who said, you know, they said, we're in Almeria, our lawyers are in Granada, and the lawyers are telling us it's impossible to get an appointment. We're trying our best. Can you please get one for us? We're like, no, we can't. Your lawyers are telling the truth. But anyway, we're going to try and find workarounds for it as well, see what we could do. But yeah, that is happening, getting increasingly frustrating to get appointments at the moment. Again, summer is never the best time to get appointments anyway, but for certain areas at the moment, I'm pulling my hair out. But never mind. Okay, well, we had this week, what did we have? We had a repeat ITV of a car that we registered about 5 years ago. We always go and help with that one. And not many appointments on the ground. It's getting close to summer and it's been really quiet. We had some clients going through, this is really relative to our last section, through London, who said that everything went well. Really, I didn't give me much of a report back, but really had a good appointment. Another NIE, do you put your UK address or your Spanish address on the EX15 if you are applying in Spain? In person for the NIE number? Well, here in Malaga we've had it where we've put a Spanish address on there, said no, you've got to put your address from the UK on there, and then we've gone with the UK address and they've made you scribble it out and put the Spanish address on. Currently we are rolling with having a Spanish address on there and not having any problem. But remember, when you go to get your NIE, you have to be specific as to why you need one. Here in Malaga, they do not ask us for proof of why you need one. You just have to write it on there. But if it's to open a bank account, you have to go in as much detail as to say, this is the branch, this is what I'm opening the bank account for, because I'm a non-resident. I want it because I'm buying a property or something like that. Other areas, I know that they actually ask for proof of why. So if you need it to buy a property, they're going to want to see a pre-sale contract. But here in Malaga, not too bad. Don't forget also that we can do NIE numbers in Malaga in person if you come to meet us, and if you aren't here, you can also send us a power of attorney and we can do it for you. Okay, that power of attorney has to be written in Spain. If you're in the UK, then you can just go to your consulate. It's the consulates that still deal with NIEs, not the BLS office, and do it directly there. So the other thing to mention about what's happening in Spain, yeah, it is holiday season. So the next 8 weeks is a juggling act. We're like this, whoa, juggling, trying to juggle all the balls because everybody's starting to go on holiday. We've recently had one of our insurance agents go on holiday. I know that our translator will be away at some point, and they're happy to answer the phone to me, but I don't like to bother them when they're away. So things may take a little bit longer, and you have to bear that in mind when you're going through the process. And don't forget that August is a time that most Spanish people go on holiday anyway, so the administrations, albeit they should not shut down, they are open. They are full of maybe temp people and aren't working as efficiently as possible. Quite famously, with the DGT, we try our very hardest not to put in any files into Trafico during the last 3 weeks of August, because what happens, and we've seen in the past, that when we put them in September, the September ones come out and the August one must have got into an August pile and they're still working through them because they don't come out in chronological order. So we've also requested a couple of ITVs for vehicle matriculations this week, and another very important point if you are bringing your vehicle over is we've got one car which has a logbook which on section K you'll see it says European homologation or type approval number. Now this vehicle had a type approval number, but it didn't have the manufacturer's sticker on the vehicle. Normally, they would request that you have to go back to the manufacturer and get that sticker. But I said to the ITV, I said, look guys, for change of residence, you don't have to have EU conformity, because you're bringing it in, it waives the need for EU conformity if it's your personal vehicle. They can't say you're not allowed to register this here because it's your personal item. So I said a vehicle with the conformity on the documents but without a sticker, you should be allowed to be brought in for change of residence, which is our case. They came back to me and said, okay, we'll accept that, but you can't use a certificate of conformity. You have to have a Ficha Técnica Reducida drawn up by a Spanish technician, and they cannot include the conformity number in that document. that solved the problem for us. So that's very interesting to know that if you are being told you need the manufacturer's sticker and you're bringing the vehicle in for change of residence, there might be a workaround for that one, which is what we found out this week. And that is about it for our appointments this week. Out and about, so we haven't had many appointments at all. Summer it's a lot slightly quieter on the appointment front out and about, and absolute madness in the office because everybody's rushing in to get here for the autumn season after the capital gains trap, as we say. If you want to know more about that, then check out the links below to our capital gains article. Right, let's talk about our YouTube channel and what has been happening on there. So onto our YouTube channel, and we've got some comments here. We uploaded a couple of videos. I uploaded a video about getting your road tax in Spain. We had a question about how to get that in Malaga, and there is a very, check the video out below, but the sound on it's very low. I did it early in the morning. I was answering emails and I thought, you know what, I always write down the videos I should do. Just do it, be spontaneous, do the video. It's only going to take 10 minutes and get it onto the channel. Then I realized in the middle of the morning that the sound wasn't good, which brings me to my first comment, which was from Joff. Cheers Joff for pointing that out. Barely any sound for me, Chris. And then I went into it and went, oh, there isn't any sound, is there? I think that was because I was being quiet because everybody was in bed. But anyway, hey, the process is still there. I will redo that one, but I'm going to leave that one live anyway. It will help somebody, hopefully. On our takeoff Malaga Airport video, now what I've been doing is going through my old videos and creating shorts and programming them, so we've always got something coming out. And I found a load of old stuff on my mobile, videos I've taken which I didn't really know what I was going to be doing with at the time, but I've got probably another 50 that I need to upload just being out and about in Spain. I thought, why not put them into shorts on our channel so people can see different aspects of living here and stuff. And I did one with the takeoff from Malaga Airport because there's a lovely takeoff there. You can see the whole of Malaga. And Robbo, who's waiting for his visa at the moment, actually, so we're heading to Chris. I'm not going anywhere. That's an old video, don't worry. I am staying firmly in Spain for the whole of summer. I'm not too sure I'll leave again this year unless it's on holiday somewhere in the winter, but definitely for the whole of summer I am here in Spain. In fact, good news is I will be going on holiday next week. So on Wednesday I'm going away for a week. Evidently my emails will be covered and I will be checking for emergencies. The office is still open, but I'll be away enjoying myself for the summer break. Jason Machin, good point on this one. Picking up and dropping off at Malaga Airport, big update. That video is doing quite well, up to 700 views, and well, quite well for me. And he said it's only 10 minutes now that you're allowed to wait for your family members or what you've got to drop them off. So bear that in mind if you're going. I thought it was 15, as I mentioned in the video. On how to get a copy of your road tax in Malaga, Wood George 1 said that's rubbish. Say, hey, look, you know you're doing well when you're getting negative comments. That's why we don't get enough, I don't think. But thank you for that comment. I just gave it a thumbs up and said thanks for your opinion. And to be fair, do you know what? After listening to the sound, it was rubbish. Gotta hold my hands up. Sound was rubbish. Sorry about that, Wood George. Then we've got here Joff Day. Been on our weekly update 22. Please watch weekly updates like this one. We're not getting many watches on them at the moment. Been a happy client for over 3 years, Chris, but feels longer in a really good way. Thanks a usual for the updates and advice. I have a pre-op test to see surgeons Friday, so should know more after that. Joff, keep us in the mix. As you know, I'm going through a bit of, well, I'm not going through anything. Scats is going through it. I'm not. I just turn up and try and speak a bit of Spanish. And to be honest with you, the doctors have been so brilliant. They speak English anyway. So, but I've been through some of what Scats is with Scats. You're going through, Joff, and just drop me a line if you want to have a chat. You know, and please keep us in the loop. You know, everything that we get out there for people, like what we're doing with Scats about certain illnesses and stuff, it's good for people who may be going through the same to see that. It's all about life in Spain. It's not all payers and tapas, is it? Next one here on our lemon picking in Malaga. Now, when I live a little bit in the country at the moment, I'm sort of half and half, whether I'd like to live in the town again and be able to walk places, but then when you're in the country and you can just walk around free and listen to like the birds, it's nice. So 50-50. I think I'll definitely end up retiring somewhere in the country, but close to the beach, so you know, up a mountain probably where you can see the sea. And they were picking the lemons, so I took a video and called it Lemon Picking in Malaga. Why not? A short. Check it out on our channel. And Robert said gin and tonic picking next. Yeah. Well, it is gin and tonics and lemons, isn't it? And then we've got here also on our Torrox to Torre del Mar video, I did shortened a video down to 1 minute that was 20 minutes long, and the Norville said haha, great tune. So let me just go into the filter and see if there's anything that I have missed. Responses from status, play. Don't think there's anything that I've missed. No. Oh, there's one here from Alan Nichols 56. Do you sell fresh pigeon heads? Now, Alan is my father-in-law, right? And Alan is extremely funny. I think he should be famous because these are some really, really funny videos, and sends them across to us. But he's been watching our videos, so I'm going to give him a big shout out to Alan and Chrissy. Thanks for watching them and always supporting, as always. They always are so supportive of me, obviously Lara, my wife, and what we do at Upsticks. So it's really, really nice. And he was laughing because on my weekly, not on my weekly update number 21, it was in my drive video. As we're driving past the shooting range, you will see that I talk about what happened when I went for Mother's Day there. And honestly, please watch that video and listen to it, and the shock that we had when I went in with my children. And that's it for our YouTube comments. So now we are going to move on to what is happening in Spain. What have we been up to this week, and what is happening next week as well. Very exciting, because I'm going to be on holiday. I'm going to tell you what I'm up to. Oh, one last thing, don't forget to check out our video about the 24-hour bowls tournament. We had loads of fun there. My mate Trevor, who we've known now for 5 or 6 years, as I said, he came in to see me one day about getting residency through the withdrawal agreement before Brexit. I ended up going to the bowls club and doing a few residencies down there. Ended up sponsoring the club. Great community over there. We like to give them a big shout out, and I said I'll do a video if we put a team in for the 24-hour bowls tournament. Watch that video because I have to say it's very funny. All right then, what's been happening out and about in Spain? What have we been drinking? What have we been eating? Here we tell you. So out and about in Spain, doing this on a little drive. We're actually at the moment we are coming to pick up our car that we left our friend's house yesterday evening. I'm going to show you this place now. Sometimes when you're a family demographic, and our friends Angel and Natalia, we've been planning to go out with them for summer, well, for about 6 months, even through the winter, and try and have a meal. And between one thing and another, the logistics is a nightmare. And so we managed to get people to look after both of our children yesterday, and get out for a meal. So evidently we left the car because it's always nice to have a glass of wine with a paella, and get a taxi home after that. So we went to this place. It's called La VIBORILLA, and this is it's a pleasant surprise actually in Benalmádena. On the coast there. It's a very Spanishy restaurant. Absolutely beautiful setting, absolutely gorgeous. Here's a few photos. We had a paella. I wanted to show you this bottle of wine as well that we had with a paella, which is called HABLA de Tea. Now this vineyard also do a red, which is called HABLA de Silencio, which is really good as well. And we saw the HABLA de Tea white version, should we say, from the same vineyard, and thought, oh, we'll have that with a paella. And I'm not particularly a white wine drinker. I can only really drink it if it's really dry. But it was really nice. So definitely that's a good suggestion, something to have with a meal if you sit in a restaurant, and definitely would recommend that you go to this place to eat. Very reasonable prices as well on the menu, and considering the setting, and absolutely jam-packed full of Spanish, so you know it's good when you see the locals there. So that was good. Check out La VIBORILLA. Now on Friday evening, that was Saturday evening, on Friday evening we were up in Sado, and it was the Intermoyina football clubs, the walking football clubs awards evening. Absolutely great. They welcomed me with open arms. We're one of the sponsors up there. You can see there that we sponsor the back of the away shirts, and we also have a banner up at every home match. And it was really nice to get down there and have a chat with the guys. We saw some of our clients down there as well, and it was just yeah, it was really nice just to bump into people and have a beer, relax, and watch them get their prizes, and just see how far they've come, to be honest with you. They're I've got so much respect for anybody who starts this sort of project out. You know, it's an over 50s walking football team. They're all getting themselves as fit as they can, you know, because it's not easy to suddenly start a sport like that. They're taking it very seriously. They've got the town hall involved. They're bringing up teams from Marbella and from around Malaga, and they've just gone from strength to strength. And there's so much work behind the scenes that the team put in, which is, you know, you can't believe the amount of work that goes in, which, no thanks given, they don't do it to get praise, but you know, it's a lot of headaches to organise stuff, and so they really deserved a good night. And they've got sponsors for next year. We've signed up again for next year, and we're hoping that the 2024-2025 season that they do well. Didn't do too well in the league this year. They came last in the league, but they did get to the semi-finals of the cup, which was brilliant. So well done, you guys, and really thanks for opening Upsticks with welcoming Upsticks with open arms. That was fantastic. The next thing I wanted to show you was this graph. Now, I saw this interesting article. Check this article out below, and this shows you the points you get, or the fines you get, for the different levels of speeding in Spain. I actually googled it because one of our clients got a speeding fine and they had to identify themselves as the driver, and I didn't realise that they hadn't got the fine at the time. They had to identify themselves and the fine would be sent out. So so yeah, we're found this graph, thought it was very interesting, at the link below. If you ever wonder when you get a speeding fine, which evidently you shouldn't speed, but if you do get one and you wonder why, well, this graph here shows you the different levels of the points which are awarded for different fines. The article's in Spanish, but hey, it's always good to read a bit of Spanish if you're learning as well. The next thing I wanted to talk about was Chinese shops. Check this out. Now, I took a little video of Chinese shops. Now, people who haven't moved to Spain yet or live in Spain wonder what this phenomenon is. I can never say that word. Of these shops, which are generally run by Chinese people of Chinese origin. A lot of them in Granada are actually run by Moroccans, believe it or not. For some reason, they call them bazaars or chinos. The chinos evidently are run by the Chinese people. The bazaars generally are run by Moroccans if you go up to like Granada and more inland areas. And these shops are just amazing. They have everything. Now, I've mentioned them before, but I took this little video here just to show you exactly what they look like inside, because it just came to my mind because I was leaving work and Lara messaged me and said, can you please pick up one or two bits on the way home? And I thought, oh, I can get all of that from the Chinese shop. That's crazy. So always look at these. Now, what I would say, as I've said before, is just be careful of the electrical items that you buy. Things that go in the wall, because you know, you're better off going to Ferreteria to buy those, which is a hardware store. Here's another video that we managed to take. This was yesterday after went to Plaza Mayor, which is in Malaga, in a place close to Churriana. It has an outlet. I'll give you a link below. It's like a shopping centre. To be honest, it is my worst nightmare. Not big on shopping, not big on shopping centres, really, full stop. So what I generally tend to do is just sit and wait. So me and my friend just sat and had a coffee, but you can see that Plaza Mayor, not only is it a good place to go shopping, but if you're a plane spotter, it's a fantastic place to go plane spotting, because this is how close the planes actually come to you to landing on the runway. So yeah, great plane spotting area if that's your thing. If you're into shopping, that's great. And the good news is there's places, if you're not into shopping, to sit and have a coffee while you're waiting for your family to go shopping. Next thing, quite comically, well, comically, I don't know if it's really comical. It did make me chuckle a little bit, but then I thought, you have to be careful with how we approach this subject with the dance teacher. Our kids have finished school, brilliant. Everybody here who's living here with kids, you know now you've got a long stint of summer ahead of your summer camps and everything. But they're so community based here, you know. There's always, I can't tell you how many end of school dances I've been to, whether it be for the school, private classes. There's always, everything's going on, everybody's saying goodbye for the summer. This photo here is with my daughter in her dance class. They did a dance and the town hall gave them a big stage to dance on. Over 300 people there watching them dance. But unfortunately, one of the songs that the dance teacher chose, she inadvertently didn't realise, and she has no reason to realise this either, you know, because we're in a Spanish speaking country, and there is a version of Whitfield's Saturday Night in Spanish, but the chorus has the F word in English in it, which I'm not too sure why they only have one line which has expletives in English in it, because the rest of the song in Spanish doesn't have any expletives in it at all. But it's watching the kids dance up there as young as 4 years old, and then suddenly the speakers blasted out, and then the F word with an explanation of how it should be used just blasted out over the speakers. And I was mortified. Well, my son was mortified, to be honest with you, because he's 10, he understands what the word is, but he knows he should never use it, evidently, but he has. So, dear me, that was, so I had to approach her with a teacher, and she was slightly mortified, but, you know, what do you do when that happens? When you live in Spain and someone inadvertently puts on a song with swearing in it, but it's not their native language, they would never know. No one else knew. There's no other native English speakers there, so nobody else was offended. So yeah, quite a difficult subject to approach, really. But they had a great dance anyway, and that was fun. It was nearly as bad as the time when they had the children's basketball tournament and they played NWA, and I was like, lads, maybe the words in this song isn't good for the prize giving for the basketball. And again, they hadn't realised the context of it. They just thought it was rap. So anyway, that happened, and then here's a question for you. And the last thing I'm going to put on this video today is Lidl's. Now, Lidl's is opening now in Alarin on a Sunday. Is this a good or bad thing? Okay, one of the nicest things about Spain was always Sunday is still a Sunday. I know when you go back to the UK, Sunday could be any day of the week because most things are now open, and there doesn't seem to be any sort of Sunday feeling. It's something I've always loved. And you know, when I saw they're opening on a Sunday, I was like, oh, that's sort of, I don't know, it's just taken away from the tradition of a relatively small town. You know, 50,000 inhabitants we've got, but we've always got that sort of small town feeling. and then inadvertently, obviously, I've been about 3 times so far, and it's been very handy. So what is your opinion on the shop starting to open in Spain on a Sunday? How do you feel about that? Is it a case of, you know, you'd prefer it to stay quiet and Sunday be like a Sunday, or is it now a case of actually Spain needs to fall in line with the rest of Europe, really, where most things are open on a Sunday? So there we go. Thanks for watching weekly update number 23. Number 24 next week. We'll be doing it from Torre del Mar because I'm going to catch a little bit of a holiday next week, but we won't miss out on the weekly update. We'll still try and get that done.